This morning when I got here, I told myself, I wish Nat would be here this morning. And looky there. There you are, Nat. Nat, I don't think you realize how indebted the kingdom is to the work that you've done. A man of faith. And even this, I don't know if you notice in what Nat says, that was in 1976 when he said that. Do you know how many AIM teams we had? One. We had one AIM team, and I love how Nat says probably in the days to come, we'll send people to all of these places, and that's vision. And we need people of vision in the kingdom as we reach out to reach this world for Christ. I'm amazed of stories about Nat, who rents an entire hotel room saying we're going to fill it up with youth and puts down the payment for it and just says, all right, we're just going to work hard, and with faith, we're going to get all the people that we need. That's the type of people that we need in the kingdom. Coincidentally, I am just getting back from Bakersfield, California, and Nat, a lot of people send their greetings from the West Side Church there. I got to speak over the weekend at their Mission Sunday, and as you walk around in their hallway, there's all of these flags as you walk through, and they said, yeah, these are flags. These flags probably wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for Nat Cooper going to these different places. And so we commend you for that and realize that it wasn't just you, but it was God working through you. And so I'm really glad that you're able to be with us this morning. You know, whenever I think about people who step out in faith, that was just a step of faith 44 years ago. And with that step of faith, God said, I'm going to do immeasurably more than all you can ask or imagine. And we continue to see amazing things happen through this program. My prayer is the amazing things that have happened in the last 44 years are only a beginning to see what is going to happen. But I think that it isn't possible by one individual. It's all of us working together to see that happen. As I was speaking in Bakersfield over this weekend, during the communion talk, a friend of mine, Doug Oakes, who is an AIM alum, he's also a graduate of the 2-year program as well, he was speaking about a milestone that they've had at work recently. And that milestone, he works in the oil fields, and he's kind of in upper management and what they do there in the oil fields. But I want you to let this set in for a second. They just celebrated 15 million labor hours without an injury in the oil field that prevented somebody from returning to work the next day. 15 million hours. Can you imagine that? But as he was talking about that, he said, the only reason that happens is because everybody gets on the same page and they say, we're all going to be safe. We're all going to promote safety. We're all going to think smart, and everybody together creates that vision that happens. And I think about recruiting for AIM and the future students that we're going to have is the best recruitment that we have are our own people that are going out and sharing the possibility of what it could be for our young people to have an experience like this. I think about this present class. We wouldn't have Titus, Isaac, and Dorothy if it wasn't for people like Mike Kakis and the Kenning family. Just talking about AIM in Alaska, we wouldn't have Kaiza Moss in this class if it wasn't for Tony and Beth Hughes. We wouldn't have 3 AIMers coming from Pueblo if it wasn't for the Bible family and sharing that opportunity. We wouldn't have Bethany Fisher if it wasn't for Brian Garnett. I haven't seen him here this morning. Is Brian here? Brian, there you are. But we wouldn't have her if it wasn't for you. And I look at that and I think to myself, the only way that we're going to have the students that we need is if we're intentionally sharing the opportunity that's available. I think about this generation for Christ that's coming up, and I think about what AIM has to offer this generation. And most AIMers, whenever they come into the program, they say, I want to grow in my relationship with the Lord. I want to be able to grow in my Bible knowledge, and I also want to have the ability to comfortably and confidently share the gospel with people, and that is what AIM is focused about. And I think, what would it be like if this generation coming up, if everybody had the opportunity to do that? You know, whenever I think about opportunities to talk about the possibility of our youth coming in and being trained to go out into the kingdom, I think that it is just as significant as sharing the gospel with a non-Christian. And the reason why I say that is when you train people to be able to share the gospel with others, you're multiplying the influence you're able to have. And I would much rather have 15, 20 people sharing the gospel than just me by myself. And so recruiting people and getting people to come and have the opportunity to do that is an amazing way to enhance the kingdom. And I want you to hear me say that we don't invite people to come study in the AIM program because AIM will look good, or that they'll come to SIBI. We do it because the kingdom needs more workers. In Luke chapter 10, verse 2, and Jesus says, "The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Ask the Lord of the harvest to send forth workers into the harvest field." And I've said this many times this year, we do not have a harvest problem, but we have a worker problem. And we need more workers. And I think about the potential that lies as AIM students come here, and what usually will happen is they'll come in, and what I foresee happening is just let them come in and get a taste of it, and they'll get the mission bug. And once they get the mission bug, they can come back from the field and they can get more training and come here and study for 2 more years, and they can work in local congregations or youth ministry or go to new mission points all around the world. But it begins with just a step. I was thinking this morning about Philip whenever he goes and he talks to Nathaniel, and he says, "Hey, we found the guy from Nazareth." And he says, "Can anything good come from Nazareth?" And Philip's answer to Nathaniel is just, "Come and see." And I think about that whenever I think about Lubbock, Texas. And I wonder how many people are like, "Can anything good come from Lubbock, Texas?" And what I want to say to people that I come in contact with is, come and see. And I believe, and we've seen this over and over again, as people come to this place, there's transformation that takes place that enhances the kingdom forever. So this summer, as you guys are going around and you're visiting different churches, you're visiting different youth groups, you're working at different summer camps, you're going to family encampments, why not share AIM? Why not talk about an opportunity for young people to grow in their relationship with God, to grow in their knowledge of the Bible, and to have confidence whenever they're sharing the gospel with their peers? And on top of that, they can go on an amazing adventure that they'll remember for the rest of their life, that will set them up as lifetime followers of Jesus from now till the day that Jesus calls them home. And so I'm excited for you, because you guys are way better recruiters than I would be, just because you have relationships with these people. I've been in places where I'll go and I'll give an AIM presentation, and you'll see the youth sitting in there just looking at their cell phones and maybe playing a video game or something while you're talking to them, totally disinterested. And I remember a place that I was speaking last year, and there was genuine disinterest among the youth. But then their youth minister, who was very passionate about AIM, and they had a relationship with that youth minister, he began to talk about AIM, and they paid attention. And I believe that people will pay attention. Those that you know, the peers that you know, the youth that you know, are going to pay attention more to you than they are to me, because they have a relationship with you. And I think about dreaming about the future. If each one of us just recruited one person to come into this program next year, that's what the kingdom needs. And I maybe can't recruit 100 people by myself, but I know I can get 1. I know I can get 2. And I think if we have that kind of vision, we're going to not just have a large class for the sake of saying we have a large AIM class, but we're going to have workers going out into the kingdom and sharing the gospel all around the world. Nat, if he didn't share those words back in 1973, and if people didn't step out in faith, we wouldn't have had a second AIM team and a third AIM team and a fourth and so forth. And I think that God, that's just the way that he works. Whenever we step out in faith, he comes in and he says, that dream that you have, I'm going to make it immeasurably more than you could ever ask or imagine. And what I just want to share with us today is, are we dreaming? Because even the littlest dream that we have, God can make that bigger, but we have to be doing it in faith and stepping out with faith. And so I really hope that over the summer you're spreading the word of the opportunity of people to grow and have the opportunity. And Pat's getting ready to come up here in a second. He's going to share some resources with you available to you over the summer that will help you be able to share the possibility of people coming to study here. Thanks.
And we have a dream that every young person in the kingdom would have an opportunity to come and see what God has done in this place, what God continues to do in this place. And we are passionate about that. We're excited about that. I have heard it said, in fact, I think I said it, which is probably why it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, except in this context. AIM is that thing that everybody knows about, but nobody's heard of. I can't tell you the number of times we've traveled around the country and have met with youth groups and churches, mission committees. How many times parents in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and maybe even older said, I just wish I knew about that. I wish I had the opportunity. And our response is, well, maybe you didn't, but they can. And so we echo what Cory said. Our dream is that every young person will have the opportunity to come and see. I've heard it said, in fact, we say this, AIM is not for everybody, but I believe it is for all. And we desire that God would bring a young person here and set them up for a lifetime of fellowship in Jesus. It's not just about the 2 years, it's about eternity. It's about walking faithfully with Jesus. And we're passionate about that, and we're not doing it all right. We know that. We need help. We need all of us to come alongside to do that. And so as a department of SIBI, we have been blessed with resources. We have pamphlets, we have prayer lists, we have interest cards, we have bands, we have pins, we have keychains, we even have tattoos to be cool. And I got to say, with these tattoos, it may not speak to you, but when we're at an event with 12,000 teens, and you have a tsunami of young people coming at you, one of the things they come at you, they just want to know something. And these tattoos have been so helpful. We slap them on, and it gives us about 30 seconds to tell them this is what AIM is. This is what God did to me and through me and with me through this thing called AIM. So we have all kinds of resources. And we want to invite you today for sure to come and pick up a couple pamphlets. As Cory said, especially as we're going away for the break. And we challenge you, and we invite you to come alongside us and to take a couple pamphlets. I'm just curious, how many of you know a young person between the ages of 14 and 22? Let's see a show of hands. How many? Okay. Good. How many of you know a young person between the ages of 14 and 22 that might be interested to come and see what God is doing in this place? Let's see a show of hands. Okay, I want you to take that hand when we're finished here and go by and pick up a couple pamphlets, okay, and do that. But we also have online resources at your disposal on our website, and we are constantly trying to work to improve those, to make some new videos, and just to get the word out, as Cory said. And we're passionate about that. And we are so blessed in this place to have these resources, and we want to make sure that we're all sharing those together for the good and the honor of the kingdom of God. We're going to end with a video, and after the video, we'll have our closing prayer. This video was made by one of our alumni, and Mr. Norwood, and he spent his AIM time up in Utah, and then he went to Harding University to get his education. And in one of his classes, an assignment he had was to make a video, and he chose to make that video about AIM. And we saw that, and we said, that is it. That is it. That is really good. Now, he intentionally made this video not only for that class, but for his home congregation in Arlington with the Woodland West Church of Christ, who incidentally have sent many young people over here to AIM over the years. But we believe this video speaks very plainly, kind of a thumbnail sketch of what AIM is, and we believe he did a really good job with that. So we want to leave this video with you, and this video is available to you, and we can get this to you if you'd like this to show any of the places that you go, as well as the video that you just saw with our 40th anniversary video as well. So let's roll that video, and then afterwards we'll have our closing prayer. Thanks.